Hello everyone, this is going to be kind of a bonus video. I figured that given the circumstances, some of you might be interested in seeing it. So I recently purchased a Lumix G9 with the intention of both improving the quality of my exploring videos, as well as maybe producing some original content in the near future. I wanted to test on location to kind of see how it performs in real-world conditions, and so we decided to do something kind of easy. The house that you see on the left side there, and I guess I'll zoom in on that, that's the one that we're going to be exploring today. Also, if you take a look at that big building in the background, that was the nursing school. We explored that one too about 5 years ago, so if you want to see that video, I'll link that in the description. The main purpose of this test was to gauge low light performance, as well as get an idea of how the sensor stabilization behaves. For this test, I'm using a 20mm prime lens at f1.7, using manual focus. Put some light on that washing machine. We gotta find a staircase. It's gotta be something. Here we go. This takes us back around to the front.
So that's the whole house then?
Yeah, well, they're still upstairs.
Well, yeah.
So keep your light where it is.
It's a nice angle, right?
Yeah.
That's poo.
Yep.
all solid plastic.
That's pretty gross. Something was living up here.
And the floor is not in bad shape, so what does that tell you? It means there was a carpet over this, and just recently the floor is exposed. So they had beautiful hardwood.
Oh yeah, look, you can see it all piled up over here.
Right, but that means they had beautiful hardwood and they never used it. So when people were actually living here, they did not even enjoy the hardwood. Let's go up the staircase. This house is barely holding itself.
Stand on it for long enough and it'll become the elevator. I might even make this like a Monday video just to save some time. Just frame it as a camera test.
Did you upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Usually. Guys, if you see this video on Monday or Wednesday, it's because I'm a huge cheapskate and didn't want to do the work.
You can even that video.
I might. Yeah, it's interesting to me that this equipment is still down here. Most of these buildings are completely cleared out. And I know you guys are always disappointed that I don't give my standard exploring commentary while doing these things, but I generally try to... What is that?
I'm gonna be outside, okay, just by the door.
Yep.
Wow. Back when things used to be made really well.
Oh, look at that.
This was the washer, that's the dryer behind you. These are all coffee cans, which makes sense because back in the day people actually saved stuff and reused stuff, not like today. Someone will have a coffee can today, throw it away, and then they'll buy a container to hold their screws and stuff, you know. It's a different world we live in.
So clearly there's a lot more experimentation to be done, but overall I'm pretty happy with the results. Being able to open all the way up to f1.7 is a huge help in low light, especially on a micro four thirds sensor, and that also allowed me to get some pretty cool depth of field at points. I had my ISO anywhere from 200 all the way up to 1600 at different points in this video. I do feel that 1600 was probably about as high as I could get away with before noise would become too much of an issue, but here I don't think it was really that big of a problem. So long as I had some highlights to work with, you didn't really notice it too much. Even still, I think in the future I'd probably want to use an LED panel or something to keep from having to go above 800 in truly dark areas like the basement. The last couple of exploration videos, Hole in the Wall and Beyond Seeing, were shot on a Nikon D610. The D610 is a full-frame DSLR, and basically geared for low-light performance. It's got a full-frame sensor, I put a nice fast lens on it, and the ISO performance is actually really, really good. While the G9 doesn't perform quite as well in low light, I definitely feel like the dynamic range and, more importantly, the color rendition make it clearly superior. The footage you see in the previous D610 videos is quite heavily edited, while the G9 footage I've showed you today is straight off the camera. The sensor stabilization is a little bit confusing to me. It's definitely a lot more stable right out of the box, not even really requiring digital stabilization in post, but it does some weird things at points. There was a moment when I turned to enter a doorway, and it's like I turned my body, and then the camera lagged behind, moving on a perfectly stable horizontal axis. I'm not sure what happened there, it's kind of weird looking. Manually focusing the whole time was definitely a challenge, especially with the narrow focus at f1.7. It generally looked pretty good all throughout, but it really only lived up to its full potential when I was able to stop and actually compose a shot, such as with the radiator or the chandelier. But I think my biggest issue with this test was the 20mm focal length, which under normal circumstances would be fine, but in the tight hallways of this little house, definitely felt a little cramped. Overall though, I'm very happy with how this came out, and I can't wait to mess around with it some more in the near future.